the answer seems to be, well, we're finding out. We are finding out.
Douglas Murray and Jordan Peterson had a pretty interesting conversation about the decline of the West and the demoralization of populations. Globalism has some pretty observable effects, doesn't it? That's just off the top of my head. There seems to be a lot of concern about migration in Western nations across the world, beyond the West even. There's concern about agriculture and what's happening to farmers, that it seems that top-down edicts are disempowering farmers, often under the auspices of creating environmental benefits, but simultaneously billionaires are buying up farmland and laboratories are creating fake meats and patenting seeds. Is it possible that there's a kind of global endeavor to centralize all power, control all food and resources, and use technology to implement citizen management at a never before seen scale? Is it possible that migration, as well as corporate globalism, the idea that culture is dropped on you from above, that every high street, every main street looks the same, that all of the food you eat is saturated in sugar and seed oils and salt, so that you are placed on a conveyor belt of ill health that a pharmaceutical industry can benefit from? Is it right that migration is surging everywhere to create deliberate destabilization? Is it possible that the claim that accepting refugees and even illegal migration is undergirded by compassion, when it seems that the establishment lacks compassion so clearly elsewhere? What do we do when we possibly disagree with people when it comes to a subject like migration? Is it possible that we could have referenda? Is it possible that one community could say, well, we want to have illegal migration in our community, let's speed up the processes to facilitate it, where other communities might say, we don't want migration here? In short, is centralized power always centrally corrupted? Let's have a look at Douglas Murray and Jordan Peterson discussing the decline of the West, and in particular the demoralization of populations, which is the kind of subject that surely a consensus can be achieved even between polarized communities. The left and the right would have to surely agree that demoralization, which is a kind of spiritual despair, is taking place everywhere. Let's have a look at it.
I said recently, before these riots happened, I said, it would be, and I might have said this to you in private before, Jordan, but I say it would be madness if people from the Indian subcontinent made up 3% of your population, it would be madness to try to demoralize that population, or to try to find ways to just say that they were nothing and never had been anything, and it was sort of best if they just tried to sidle through their lives without harming anyone. Why would you do that to 3% of the population? Among other things, it's rude, it's cruel, it's unusual, and that 3% of the population is a significant amount of the population. You don't want to demoralize 3% of the population. Okay. Why would you do that to a majority? Who is so insane that they want to do this to majority populations? And the answer seems to be, well, we're finding out. We are finding out.
Well, we're finding out. I say Douglas Murray is intellectual Morrissey and JP is academic Kermit. It's been said before, but, it's pretty clear he started Kermit halfway, pretty evidently, to a quite good Jordan Peterson impression.
Well, okay, let's delve into that on the ideational front. I mean, I would say, who would want to do that? Well, my sense is that it's this metastasization of Marxism. It's the spirit that metastasized Marxism that's bringing this about, and consciously. And so you have the people that hold the center, the majority of people who approximate some implicit ideal, however poorly. And then you have people who are perhaps unable to do that, or who are unwilling to do it, or who are even opposed to it, and they occupy the margin. And there's many of them. They're a plethora. And the postmodernists, especially the modern queer theorists, let's say, want to bring that margin into the center by whatever means necessary. Now, I think there's a profound philosophical misunderstanding that accompanies that desire. Although if the underlying desire at the base is just the desire for chaos, which is certainly possible, then it's not a mistake, it's not a bug, it's a feature. But, we tend to believe in the West that an idea has its opposite, and that progress might be obtained by watching the war of a thesis and its antithesis.
Okay, synthesis, sort of Eric Fromm's idea, thesis, antithesis, synthesis. But I think what we're actually experiencing is a kind of bewilderment and delirium. That power benefits, the powerful benefit from crises and confusion. Obviously, I've been thinking about this a great deal. I think about it all of the time. This is how I put it succinctly and obviously. If during a financial crisis, financial interests can benefit, do you think you will see less or more financial crisis? If in a health crisis, health industry or the medical industry or the pharmaceutical industry, to be yet more specific, benefit, do you think we're likely to see more health crises or the categorization of events as crises in order to expedite the process of profit? If war benefits the military industrial complex, do you think we're going to see less or more war? Now, to those of us that sort of have, after long hard journeys, cultivated something of a moral centre, it seems implausible that there would be interests that would sooner see children die and cities demolished than accept that there are more important things in life than profit and material possessions. But the fact is that the most consistent, powerful and significant donors to the Washington class or the City of London class or the powerful elites that dominate and govern across the globe, either through the auspices and theatre of democracy, and Lord alone knows we saw a lot of it at the DNC there, are the beneficiaries of crisis. So you will see more and more crises. You will see more and more events that are exploitable. During the pandemic, do you not sometimes forget even the uneasy statistic that there was a wealth transfer of trillions of dollars in the favour of the already wealthy and powerful? Do you not think it's likely, therefore, that crises will further be implemented as citizen management and citizen control becomes more difficult, as immediate communication means you no longer have polarised political communities, but in fact, almost heat maps of new alliances emerging, where, as Dave Smith said in his conversation with Tucker, because I was watching it, said that what we have now are peripheral forces opposing establishment forces, an analysis I first became aware of in the writing of Martin Gurri. So, yes, I believe there is a demoralizing crisis at the heart of Western culture and potentially at the heart of all culture, and that when there are crises, we are more likely in our personal lives to yield to authority. Take, for example, a personal anecdote where you have faced medical crisis or legal crisis. Do you become more willing to subject yourself to authority in those conditions? I know that I do, and it takes special people indeed, and Lord alone knows that none of us are special in the ultimate tribunal, unless it is through him. So perhaps what we have to do is find a way to enliven the flame within us, to be willing to embrace real service, to be willing to look beyond the analysis and condemnation that passes for news coverage these days, to mint and forge our own heroes and our own movements, deploying this technology artfully and being willing, most of all, when building this new kingdom, to overcome and avoid the hatred that they benefit from so strongly when we yield to it, when we hate among one another. But hey, that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments and the chat. We can't continue to bring you this beautiful content without the support of our partners. Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic, and who doesn't love drama? What if you need to lose weight but you don't like injections? Doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The studied ingredients in Lean are shown to lower blood sugar, that's good, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings so you're not as hungry. Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. Doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 pounds or more to lose. That could be me. I could lose 10 pounds. Get started with 15% off and free rush shipping. Add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Do you know what that phrase does? I mean, don't be like an idiot and just think you can guzzle Lean and it's all going to be okay. Add it to a healthy exercise plan in order to lose that hard, stubborn to shift £10, even though I believe that you're absolutely beautiful as you are, just lose that £10 because you wanted to. Visit takelean.com, enter brand15 for your discount. That's promo code brand15 at takelean.com. Thank you. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.